Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. This is Newsbeat.
Here's a look at what we're looking at this hour. Russian troops at the Crimean border? It's a political and military stare-down. We've got the latest on the Russia crisis.
A battle is revving up on Chicago streets. Why cab drivers are heading to court to take on a certain group of drivers. Good morning. It's Tuesday, March 4th. I'm Husnaa, Vhora. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on Newsbeat. I'm Husnaa, Vhora.
And I'm Joanna Hernandez.
Russia and Ukraine are in the midst of a crisis over the Crimean Peninsula. Tensions are so high that the United States is offering its own warning to Russia's President Vladimir Putin. In fact, at this hour, Secretary of State John Kerry is in Kiev issuing his own warning to Russia. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is in Ukraine today, where Russia threatened to conquer the Crimean Peninsula. The crisis worsened over the past 24 hours after Ukrainian leaders accused Russia of declaring war. Russian troops seized several Ukrainian military bases, but say that using military force is the last resort. Here we see a military official waving a Russian flag on a Ukrainian base, displaying Crimea's strong loyalty to Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin said that Russia does not want to take over the Crimean Peninsula, but showed no signs of backing down on Russia's presence in the region. Putin is stationing ships as a warning to Ukraine about what could happen if Russia takes action, and says that they will only do so to protect the Ukrainian people. So, Joanna, the tension is seemingly calming down in Ukraine, and I think that maybe U.S. involvement is really helping there.
I definitely hope something really works out soon.
I hope so, too.
Hundreds of protesters chained themselves to the White House fence. Now they're in jail. Environmentalists are trying to convince the Obama administration to reject a Canadian oil pipeline. The oil pipeline would be 1,700 miles long, stretching from Canadian oil sands to the Gulf Coast. Demonstrators laid down on the sidewalk and formed a human oil spill. Students from about 80 colleges participated in the protest that ended in hundreds of arrests.
A landlord out collecting rent is shot and killed on Chicago's southwest side. 66-year-old Herbert Good was walking along the 2300 block of 57th Street when a gunman opened fire. Police say there are no suspects or no motive at this time.
A routine traffic stop ends with police finding 25,000 pounds of crystal meth in one driver's car. Roberto Ortiz is charged with drug possession with intent to deliver. According to police, the street value of the meth is nearly $2 million.
The verdict is in, guilty. A jury convicted ex-Chicago police person Stephen Mandell in a murder-for-hire plot.
It was the evidence in the case that made it so chilling. Newsbeat Natalie Shaver has more on what the jury saw. Natalie?
That's right, guys. The evidence that helped convict Mandell is like something right from a horror film. The FBI caught Mandell and his partner in crime, Gary Engel, discussing the grisly details of their plan on video surveillance.
This cold side has no pressure whatsoever.
Stephen Mandell and Gary Engel, seen here, putting finishing touches on their would-be torture chamber, just days before pulling a stomach-turning crime.
That's what I don't know.
Lay a carpet out there,
Yeah.
It was finishing touches. All the plumbing was supposed to be done. The electrical's done.
Their plan? To kidnap, torture, and kill their victim, Stephen Campbell, for money.
We're going to keep them here, secure here, okay?
Mandell and Engel even go as far as role-playing how Campbell would react to the torture.
And we don't want them swinging on here banging.
This vacant storefront here on the northwest side of Chicago in a quiet neighborhood along Devon Avenue is the home to that torture chamber that Stephen Mandell and Gary Engel had set up.
That noise you hear? Water running into a giant sink built to drain their victim's blood.
Prosecutors say Club Med, the name Mandell gave to the torture chamber, was also equipped with multiple knives, saws, plastic sheets, and zip ties.
We can get this thing done. We want to be able to secure him while he's sitting down. We don't want him laying. We're not doing the spread either.
Mandell denied all charges. However, he did admit discussing the murder plot in great detail, but never planned on actually going through with it. It took a federal jury only 4 hours to decide on the guilty verdict. Mandell will be facing life in prison at his sentencing hearing in June. Now guys, this trial was something like an episode of Law & Order. I could not believe the evidence that was being presented.
Honestly, what I saw, it looks so intense. Thank you, Natalie. Coming up, when Newsbeat returns, fights over taxis and one Oscar winner's inspiring speech.
And Lupita Nyong'o wins her first Oscar for 12 Years a Slave. More on this coming up.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
There's a growing controversy in Chicago, and it centers around ride-sharing services like Uber and Lyft.
Thanks to smartphone apps, a ride is just a click away, but some lobbyists are not happy about it. Newsbeat Ariana Pup is here with the latest on the story.
The competition is fierce between ride-sharing companies and taxi cabs. The Chicago City Council held hearings on the issue that had no resolution, but the hearings triggered a federal lawsuit. When no cabs are around and you're in a rush, there is an app for that. Ride-sharing services like Uber, Lyft, and Halo have become extremely popular in Chicago.
I switch on and off between different calls, so I can pick up anyone on the street like a normal taxi, and then I'm affiliated with Flash, so I can accept their calls. Then I have Uber, I can accept their calls, and I also have Halo, and I accept those calls. So whichever comes first, I go for one of those.
Last week, a group of Chicago taxi companies filed a lawsuit against the city for failing to enforce its own rules.
It is discriminating against taxi owners who have played by the rules, paid their taxes, and complied with safety and licensing requirements, while the city at the same time is allowing unregulated companies who provide identical service to make their own rules.
Some people think the Uber app is very convenient, but for some taxi drivers, like these, think that Uber is taking away the competition from everyone else. After talking to many cab drivers, most are upset over the lack of regulation on these taxi services.
If all in all, they had to shut down Uber completely and the taxi portion of the app was gone, it would affect me in the beginning in getting to the customers, but people need to get somewhere and they'll find a way to get there.
Now Mayor Rahm Emanuel wants to license these ride-sharing companies and require drivers to submit to drug tests and criminal background checks. The ordinance is still in the works, but I don't see these services going anywhere anytime soon. I'm Ariana Pup, back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Ariana. Police are investigating what seems to be a terrorist attack in China's local train station. The chilling violence took place in one of the largest Kunming train stations in Yunnan province on Saturday. Chinese authorities reported 10 armed men rampaged inside the railway with knives and machetes. Over 33 innocent people were killed and hundreds of people badly injured. Police say at least 4 of the attackers are dead and a female suspect is wounded. Authorities are still searching for the other suspects.
Neighbors of Oscar Pistorius say they heard screams at his house before fatal gunshots were heard.
The intensity and the fear in her voice escalated, and it was clear that this person's life was in danger.
Carl Johnson and his wife Michelle Berger said they awoke to a woman's screams and went to their balcony to listen. Pistorius defense attorney Barry Rue questioned Berger's story, asking if what he heard actually happened. The Paralympian gold medalist pleaded not guilty yesterday to the murder of his girlfriend Reba Steenkamp on Valentine's last year. Pistorius says he mistook his girlfriend for a burglar.
Winter weather isn't leaving Chicago anytime soon.
And Rahm Emanuel is finding out the hard way.
The deal was sealed with Rahm Emanuel and a celebrity at the Polar Plunge. What was the agreement and what does the mayor have to do now?
And warm weather is on the horizon. Des Valera will give us our 5-day forecast. This and more when we return.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
The excitement of the Sochi Olympics has come to an end, and the numbers are in.
Viewership is down, and the same is true for the Chicago bars that hosted Olympic-themed viewing events to pump up profits. Newsbeat Sarah Salgado is live in the newsroom with the latest on the story. Sarah?
Thanks, Joanna. Every 4 years, bars and restaurants of our cities gear up with the hopes that people will come in and watch the games and maybe spend some money. But this year has been a disappointment for their owners and employees. It's Thursday night at Sedgwick's Bar and Grill in Chicago's Lincoln Park neighborhood, and they're hosting the 3rd annual Olympic Games. The bar has prepared for the event by hosting Olympic-themed decoration, competitions, and menu options. But so far, the turnout has not been what they expected.
Well, my good friend, actually, she's the manager here, and so she told us about it, and so I thought I'd come by and support her, and you know, I'm always down to have a little fun.
I just don't think there's a whole lot of interest this time around. There's not a big story that people are following, so not much so far, but.
Nationally, the overall viewership for this year's Olympic Games dropped by 12% compared to the Vancouver Olympics 4 years ago. The drop in viewers has apparently crushed any hope for extra revenue for Chicago's bar scene.
Air hockey is just one of the many games that the managers of Sedgwick brought to increase the viewership of the Sochi Olympics here in this bar. So far, they say they have not seen the increase that they're looking for.
Olympics are always exciting because they only have it every 2 years, you know, winter, summer, winter, summer. I'm excited about hockey. I'm a big hockey fan.
We really haven't seen much influx or interest even, but the hockey will turn it around, hopefully.
The owner of Sedgwick says that attendance picked up for the hockey games, but that it wasn't as many people as he had hoped. He's hoping that this year's summer games will bring in more people than the winter did. This is Sarah Salgado, live from the newsroom.
Okay.
Thank you, Sarah. Now, donning a suit and tie, Jimmy Fallon kept his word and took a dip in Lake Michigan Sunday.
The Tonight Show host kept his word and took the polar plunge with Mayor Rahm Emanuel. The two made a deal via Twitter last week that Emanuel would come to Fallon's show as long as he took a dip. Attendees describes Fallon's face as pure shock as he emerged from the water, but that didn't stop him from raising his arms in victory.
This year's plunge broke records, raising more than $9,000 and bringing more than 3,000 people into Lake Michigan.
Grab your costume and mask. It's time for Columbia's annual Blood Ball. This Friday night at the Conway Center, students will celebrate Mary Ann Blood. She and Ida Maury Riley founded this college back in 1890. Attendees are strongly encouraged to wear ball gowns, tuxedos, practically anything goes. The event is open to all Columbia students with a valid ID. We might be shivering now, but warm weather might not be too far away.
Newsbeat Dennis Valera has the forecast and more on this week. So Dennis, what's going on? Please tell me we have warmer weather coming.
Just hold on, Joanna. We have some things to do first. So, you're right. Warmer temps are only a few days away, but we have more snow first. So if we take a look outside at Buckingham Fountain, as you can see, the blanket of snow from the past couple of days is still there, and it's gonna stay there for a little longer, if not get a little higher. So if we look at today's current temps, it is 21, but it really feels like 12, and that's mainly because of the winds coming from the southwest at 7 miles per hour. So make sure you're bundling up when you go outside. If we take a look at the Chicagoland area, we got around the same temps around the whole way. As you can see, Waukegan at 20, out west with Aurora at 19, southwest 18 at Joliet, and again over here by us it's like 21. So around the same temps around the entire Chicagoland area. But if you look at tonight, we're gonna drop a couple degrees at 19 and expect a couple inches of snowfall. So like I said, that snow we saw outside on Buckingham Fountain is only gonna get a little higher, and expect that around 7 or 8 p.m. tonight. And the winds are gonna die down just a little bit, but that's just because the snow has fallen. So don't forget to bundle up as you go outside. And if we take a look at the 5-day, Wednesday, we're gonna have some snow still at 27. Thursday, we're gonna be at 30. And then Friday, we're gonna see some sun and higher temps at 40. And that's gonna be the high of the 5-day. And then Saturday, we're gonna drop down back to 32, and Sunday, back down to 29. So as you can see, we kind of had this roller coaster effect going on for the 5-day, but hey, we're gonna stop seeing that snow really soon.
Yeah, definitely. All I know is that if I get some warm weather, I'm happy.
Yeah, seriously.
This winter has gone on forever.
We need a break.
We
a
do.
Spring break.
Hopefully we'll get one. Thank you, Dennis.
Yep.
When Newsbeat returns, a golf star who's making waves. A hockey game rocked by a blizzard, and we'll tell you the Oscar winners.
Coming up in sports, just wait and see what Russell Hensley did to shock the golf world. Also, the Blackhawks take on the Penguins in a blizzard. See who comes out on top.
Plus, we'll show you which big stars took home Oscars, and we'll show you which ones stole the show. We'll be right back.
I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 6. To me, being the first person to go to college, it's like setting a standard, you know? My little brother is 8 years old now. I challenge his curiosity. I challenge him to dream. I have to paint a picture for him that he can look up to and live up to and possibly be better than. My name is Jaquez, and I am your dividend.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, you know, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
Vinny's here to tell us more about what's going on in the worldwide of sports. Vinny, so tell me what's going on.
Wow, what an interesting weekend it was. And to start off, the Blackhawks took on the Pittsburgh Penguins in a Windy City showdown at Soldier Field. Now, man, this was a snowy game. This was the first of 4 games held during the NHL's Winter Classic Series. Boy, did Winter's End hold up their part of the bargain. Snow flying all over the place, all over the ice. It was a snowpocalypse out there as Corey Crawford and the Hawks were ready to battle against Sidney Crosby and his Penguins. Now, we begin in the first with this fabulous save by Marc-Andre Fleury. What a save. Now, after that, it was all Blackhawks from here on out, starting with this dish right here from Jonathan Toews to Patrick Sharpie. Right in the center of the goal. Blackhawks go on to score 4 more goals to crush the Pittsburgh Penguins. Final score, 5-1. Now, after being the hottest team in the league since January, the Bulls arrived at the Barclays Center last night to take on the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets were on a streak as well, going 18-8 in their past 26 games, and they didn't want to have any plans to the Bulls change their momentum. Right there, Sean Livingston drains an 8-footer. Now later in the first, Livingston almost loses the ball but recovers, and Mason Plumlee finds an open lane and says, bam, dunks it right in the net. But now Bulls try to make a comeback here with a couple tip-ins by Joakim Noah, but it just wasn't enough as the Nets continue to control the rest of the entire game for the win. Final score, Nets take this one 96-80. Now it's time for my invincible plays of the week. Here's a couple you just have to see. Unbelievable, starting in the golf world. Check out Russell Henley's shot here on the 14th hole at the Honda Classic. Wow, unreal. Now watch this again in slow motion. It just doesn't get any better than that. Holding out for eagle from 150 yards out. He ended up going on to win the Honda Classic, defeating number 2 ranked in the world, Rory McIlroy. Now Jimmy Butler gets my second award. Check out this hustle play by Jimmy. He pokes the ball away from Carmelo Anthony, dives into the stands to save the ball. Then he realized the play is still going on, so he decided to just run in the stands to get to the other side of the court just in time to defend his man. Nice hustle, Jimmy. Love it. Now, real quick, Tiger Woods returned in the Honda Classic but decided to withdraw from the tournament in the final round due to back problems. Also, Wichita State finishes off the season undefeated 31-0 record, becoming the first team to do this in a decade. And finally, Richie Incognito, who was accused of bullying Jonathan Martin last year, checked himself into rehab for psychiatric treatment. Now, guys, back to Tiger Woods. I thought it was a little unprofessional of him to kind of withdraw from the tournament in the 4th round. I kind of think he should have just played it out. He's done it many times before. But, you know, honestly, we don't know what's going on with his back. But I think he's kind of preparing for the Masters. So I'm not going to give him too much, but I think he should have finished it off.
I think so. But, I mean, I guess he has his own problems. And maybe he's saving up the energy to win bigger tournaments.
He wants the majors.
Regardless, we love Tiger Woods. Thank you, Vinny.
Love Tiger. No
the
problem.
Oscars might be over, but they still have people talking. Celebrities fill the Dolby Theater Sunday. For the 80th Academy Awards, Matthew McConaughey took home Best Actor alongside his co-star Jared Leto for Best Supporting Actor for their transformational roles in Dallas Buyer Club. Newcomer Lupita Nyong'o gave an inspirational speech, winning the Oscar for her power performance in 12 Years a Slave. But the night wouldn't have been a hit if it weren't for Ellen's record-stunning celebrity selfie taken during the show. The picture even made Twitter history for crashing the server after being retweeted more than any other picture. Now this wraps up Newsbeat for today. For Vinny, Catino, and Sports, Dennis Valera with weather, I'm Joanna Hernandez.
And I'm Husnaa Vhora. Remember to join us right here every Tuesday morning at 11:30. Have a great day.